Hey guys, welcome to another Minecraft video. I have good news and bad news. So in my last video, in the description box, I mentioned a teaser for a new Minecraft series that I was thinking of starting. I never really kind of gave details for it, but I hope I gave enough hints for certain people, meaning people who play Minecraft, to know what I was hinting at. Anyway, the good news is that is all recorded, at least the first episode is. But the bad news is that it's not going to be up on YouTube for a while. Unfortunately, my computer is not liking my editing software. I use Adobe Creative Suite, which is professional level software, but I use it on a mid-range laptop, and it's really designed for like at least a decent level desktop PC with tons of RAM. This thing only has 8 gigs of RAM, so normally it's been good enough for me, but for some reason recently it's just been eating memory and completely like lagging my system to the point where it becomes unusable after running After Effects for more than a few minutes, which has been making it very hard to edit videos, which is why you might notice this video remains unedited, unfortunately. But I would like to just put up the unedited version of my intro video just so I could put something up, but it's an hour of footage. It needs to be cut into smaller pieces. So until I figure out how to fix the memory issue, or at least edit it in small pieces at a time and eventually get it done, there will be no other, no series started, and I'm sure you just heard my computer spin up. But yeah, so it'll be a while probably before that series intro gets posted, but you know, there's not much I can do about it. My computer's not playing nice. So I'm sorry for that. I hope you all understand. But in the meantime, I didn't want to leave you without any content, so here's an unedited tutorial video for Minecraft. I hope you enjoy, and I hope you don't hate me for not being able to put up the other video. Like you would hate me for not putting up something that you don't even know what it is yet. Anyway, so what is all of this craziness? First of all, you'll notice this is a brand new test world. It doesn't have all the stuff from the other videos. It was getting a little cluttered. I thought a new world was in order. New world order. Anyway, so this is, if you can tell by these signs, a stats system for Minecraft. Now obviously this would be in custom maps or maybe custom servers. A lot of servers have command block systems set up, and then after that everyone plays in survival, so this could be useful for that as well, I guess, but I feel like it's more useful for adventure maps and stuff like that. So anyone who plays RPGs might know that in RPGs you have certain stats like speed or jump height or strength or whatever, and as you gain experience you can pump that experience into points to boost those stats. So you might have 5 stat points to spend, and you put 3 into strength and 2 into speed or whatever. So Minecraft doesn't really have that. The only thing that experience is good for in Minecraft, vanilla Minecraft that is enchanting and enchanting, but that's it. So I thought, is there a way to use command blocks to make actual stats that actually matter for experience? And yes, there is, and it's quite easy actually. So these little rows here are the entire system, and this is for 3 stats, which as you can see is jump boost, speed, and then on strength is on the other side, strength. So these 3 blocks are a standard clock, fill clock. So this one, the top one actually, fills this entire row with redstone blocks, and then the bottom one fills it with air. So what happens is the bottom one gets executed first, and this turns into air, and then that gets executed and turns this into redstone blocks. When that happens, the redstone block triggers this block again, and the cycle starts all over, which means we get 20 ticks per frame, or no, that didn't, no, 20 ticks per second on our clock. And basically each of these rows of command blocks is for a different stat. So these rows, this row here, these blocks are all for speed. These rows are all for jump boost, and the back row here is for strength. And each command block is for a separate level. So let me show you what I mean. Right now I'm at normal. I just have 0 stat points spent, so I'm just plain vanilla. Actually, this works best in survival mode. So normal speed is like this. Now, if I wanted to boost my stats up, I would be going out killing monsters, mining certain materials, smelting things, whatever, getting experience the normal ways. But for now, I'm going to cheat, and just for the sake of explanation and demonstration, 500 levels. Yeah, way more than I need. But, so let's say I have all this experience, and I want to use 10 levels to get +1 to my speed stat. When I do that, it says speed stat increased to 1, and you'll notice I have a speed effect applied. In fact, this is speed 1. So it's a little faster. Not really all that noticeable. But if I boost this up to stat 6, which is speed 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. You'll notice I'm going a lot faster, and this is just walking. When I sprint, oh man, so much faster. Now it says max stat 6. There is actually no cap on this in terms of it will let you boost the stats up to whatever you want. So I can go 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I can go all the way up. The max stat here is just that it won't actually do anything beyond level 6. Everything beyond level 6 is the same. And that's just because you have to have a separate command block for each level, so there is going to be a cap somewhere. So the last one just does level 6 and above, so they're all the same. So yeah, so that's speed. And now let's check out my jump stats. So I'm at normal vanilla jumping now. I can't even jump over this little wall. So if I get my jump boost up to 1, you'll see I have jump boost now. I'm at level 1. Still can't get over the wall, but I'm a little higher. Let's try jump boost 2. And you'll notice my XP going down every time I buy something. And look at that, now I can jump over the wall, just barely. So let's bring this up to max. Again, this one is max stat 6. 5, 6. And look at that jump. That jump with this speed, it's crazy. Now strength. The reason I did this at max stat 3, I could have gone up to 6 or whatever number I wanted, just one command block per level. But I figured strength 3 is a bit much as it is. So I don't want to go farther than that. It would just be one-hit kills at that point. But let's increase the strength to 3, max level, and you'll see I have a strength 3 effect. Now if I could find a mob, oh look, there's a chicken. Watch me punch it to death. Ah, get back here, chicken. One-hit kill on a chicken. It wouldn't be a one-hit kill on some other mobs, but yeah, one-hit kill without weapons. So, I can boost my strength up, I can boost my jump stats, I can boost my speed, and right now it's 10 levels for 1 point in each. Of course, this is totally customizable, so depending on how much experience you think your players are going to get, you can adjust those costs. You can adjust the max levels just by adding more or fewer command blocks to each row. So yeah, so let's get started on the tutorial. So, the first thing is, besides this clock obviously, what you need to do is add some scoreboard objectives. So for each stat that you want your players to be able to augment, you create a new objective. So right now, if I do scoreboard objectives list, it'll tell me all of the objectives I have. Ignore fire boots, I was testing something else. But you'll see I have one for speed, one for jump, and one for strength, right? So you can create those simply by typing this command in, scoreboard objectives add, and then you name your objective. In this case, I'll do speed. You say dummy, which means it won't automatically be tracked or anything. It will only be updated by command blocks. And then speed again. So the first one is the internal name of the stat, or rather of the objective that the scoreboard keeps track of. And the second one is what displays on your side display panel if you use one. I don't think it's necessary for this, but you know, if you want people to be able to see all of their stat levels, you can do that by showing it on the sidebar. But yeah, so you basically do this and then just change speed in both cases to whatever stat you want. In this case, I already have it, so it's not letting me do it, but yeah. Once you have your objectives in place, it's just a matter of tracking people who have those objectives as, you know, values more than 0, and then applying different status effects to them. So in this case, jump boost, 6 levels. Oops, I cannot look at command blocks in survival. Okay, so here you have to run an execute because we only want this to occur for whoever has, actually this should be an A. So in all of the command blocks, change P to A. This system isn't really designed for multiplayer, and you'll see why later, but it could potentially work for multiplayer. I feel like there's a few little issues with that, but just in case, you might as well change this to A for all players rather than just the nearest player, which is what P means. So if you want multiplayer, change this to A, otherwise P should be just fine because it will only be one player. So we're executing a command as if it were coming from the nearest player with the minimum score for jump at 1 and the maximum score for jump at 1. So this part that just says score jump is the maximum, and then score jump min is the minimum. So a minimum jump score and a maximum jump score of 1 means they have exactly the jump score of 1. And so then we execute it at their position, doesn't really matter in this case, and we apply an effect to them. So I don't know if this is necessary. I didn't even look into it. You might not even need a target selector there. Considering it's being executed by the player, you might be able to just leave that whole selector out. But I put it in, it doesn't really matter. If it does work without it, it's probably a little cleaner, but it works either way. So yeah. So this is saying is, from the player's position, find the nearest player with a radius of 0 blocks, which should be, you know, you. And then it uses effect 8, which is jump boost effect. If you go on the Minecraft Wiki page, you can find a list of status effects and all of their IDs. So in that case, I picked 8 for jump boost for 1 second. In this case, this is level 1, so we put 0 amplifiers on it because it's 0 based. So 0 amplifiers is level 1 effect, 1 amplifier is level 2 effect, etc. So this is level 1, so we do 0 amplifiers and true to hide particles because we don't want particles showing up around our player just because they have any stat points. You know, that's just ugly. So we use true here to hide the particles. So this applies a jump boost effect at level 1 for 1 second without showing particles. Next one should be very simple now. It's exactly the same, only we're checking for a score of 2 instead of 1. And we are using an amplifier of 1 instead of 0. So now we're giving jump 2 for 1 second on people who have a jump score of 2. And we use 1 second just so that if for whatever reason their scores go away, I don't know why they would. Maybe you want to reset their scores if they die or something. Then it will immediately go away after 1 second, all of their effects. So yeah. And then, so I'm sure you can guess, this is the same, but it checks for a score of 3 and gives an amplifier of 2, score of 4, amplifier of 3, etc., etc. The only difference is this last one, which, as I mentioned, it's, in this case, level 6 and above, or your max level and above. So you just use the score jump min, or score min for your stat, but you leave out the maximum check because you want it to be unbounded so that any value 6 or above will have a level 6 jump boost. And despite most potions only going up to like level 3 or level 5 or something, you can actually go up to, I think, 127, level 127 or something like that, maybe 126. So at that point, you're kind of just getting insane effects and things get OP. So I suggest you don't go that high, but you can if you want to. And so yeah, you can just add as many of these as you want. So that's jump boost. Now down here we have speed, which is exactly the same as the jump boost. Only difference is instead of effect 8, which is jump boost, we're using effect 1 for speed. And instead of testing the jump score, we're testing the speed score. So yeah, should be pretty self-explanatory. Same is true of this with the strength. We're testing the strength score, giving effect 5, which is strength, and all of the levels. And in this one, we just stopped at 3, so we didn't test for max on 3. That's all. All right, so that's what actually applies the effects to the people who have a score. So what do we do to actually let them trade experience for score points or stat points? For that, we have this setup. Now, there's probably a more effective or efficient method of doing this, but I just went with the first thing I could think of that worked, and it works just fine. So it probably won't work well with multiplayer, and you'll see why in a second, but yeah. And for all the other ones, so that's just for the speed. For the jump and strength, it's exactly the same circuit with little tiny pieces of code changed. It's just underground, so it's hidden away. This is just for demonstration. So what I have here is the button to trade experience for stat point leads into this. Oops, I'm not used to level 6 jump boost. It leads into this redstone circuit here. So the first thing we have, you'll notice, is an AND gate, which means this and this both have to be true in order to get the output. So this is nothing more than whether you've pressed the button or not. Because the thing is, with command blocks, they will retain their state, so even after the power turns off, if the last command executed was true, they will stay on. So we need to only trigger the command blocks down there if the button was pressed at the same time that the check happened. So that's why we just have this button running directly into an AND gate along with running into this command block. Now these comparators are here and these comparators just for delay. This command block adds 1 tick of delay, and this comparator adds 1 tick of delay. And we need all of these lines to be synchronized, because if they're not synchronized well enough, then you'll get some issues with the AND gates, because this, for example, this button may arrive here before this has updated its status, and the last time it updated it might have been true, but now it's not, so it might have a false positive. So this just delays the button signal exactly as many ticks as this command block test is delayed, to make sure that everything syncs up properly. So this is a simple test. It's just a test for the nearest player with a minimum level of 10. Now this is why this wouldn't really work very well in multiplayer, because there's no easy way to figure out who pressed that button. So if you have like 2 or 3 or 10 players around here and one of them presses this button, there's no real easy way to know who that is. Now, if you do this in multiplayer, this says the nearest player. So depending on the design of your map, maybe the nearest player will always be the person who pressed the button. But let's say I'm over here and there's someone in front of me and I press the button. It's going to give it to them instead. It's going to basically trade their experience for their stats, and you get nothing. So it's not foolproof, which is why I only recommend this system for single-player maps. But you can try it on a multiplayer map. Just don't come crying to me when it doesn't work properly every time. So yeah, so this just tests to see if the closest player has a minimum level, that's what this means, of 10. Now, that is the cost of the stat increase. You might have different stats cost different amounts, and like I said, you can change it for your map depending on how much experience the players are going to be getting. But this is where you test to make sure they have enough experience, right? So you can change this to whatever the cost is for that stat. And now you have this, which is another AND gate. But what you'll notice is this input is the same as this torch, which is the inverse of this command block. Which means if you don't have enough money, it will go into this AND gate with the button press. So if you've pressed the button and you don't have enough money, then it will execute this instead. And when I say money, I mean experience. And this is nothing more than a tell raw, which pops up a message in chat for the nearest player, and it just says you need 10 levels to increase your speed stat in red. So if I didn't have enough, which let me come here, game mode 0, XP, and let's remove all of my levels. I have 320 levels. So now I have no levels. I don't have the 10 levels it costs. So if I press it, it says in red in the chat that I need 10 levels to increase my speed stat. And that comes from here. Obviously, you can make this whatever you want. Oops, game mode 1. You can make this whatever you want. You can make it any message you want. You can make it do other things. I just had a simple message. And if you do just leave the default message, then you're going to want to change this 10 to whatever the cost of the item is, or of the stat is. Okay, and so then lastly, if you do have enough money, or keep saying money, if you do have enough XP and you've pressed the button, then these will get executed. And so the way this works, the first one adds 1 to your speed stat. It's just a scoreboard players add, which means, and this is up again, nearest player. So add to the nearest player's speed score 1. So yeah, simple. This one removes your 10 levels. So it's XP minus 10 levels, that's what the L is, for the nearest player with at least 10 levels. This selector here for, minimum of 10 levels, not really necessary, because if you don't have 10 levels, that should never actually get executed. But it's just a fail-safe, and it doesn't hurt anything, so why not? That at least... No, it wouldn't reduce false positives. Yeah, it doesn't need to be there. This could easily just be that. But I thought it would be nice to just put that in, just in case. Can never be too safe. Anyway, so it adds 1 to your stat, removes 10 levels, and then this is just a message that, again, with the tell raw. And the reason we're using tell raw is, first of all, so that it doesn't show a player name, which would be the name of the command block in front of the message, because we don't want that. It also allows us to add color, like in this case blue, in the other case red. And it does something very nice for us, which is useful in this case. So first of all, The first text is just speed stat increase 2. Obviously, you change the name of the speed to whatever the stat you're using is. And then it's blue. But then this allows us to add extra stuff besides hard-coded text. In this case, we're using a score. The name is the name of the player whose score you want to show. If you use a star, it'll show for everyone that gets the message, it will show their exact score instead of anyone else's. So that just makes it a little shorter code for us instead of having to put @p or anything like that. So then the objective that we want to show, which is what stat we want to show, is speed. So this will add, after saying speed stat increase 2 in blue, it will then show the score that I have for speed in green. Because of the color green here, which makes it a really nice, you saw that before, it's a nice way of letting the player know, hey, yes, you updated your stat, and this is now your current score. So that's why I don't really think having a sideboard with all the stats is necessary, especially if you're adding a lot of stats, because every time you update a stat, you get your current stat, but sideboard might be nice just as a reminder when you're not buying stuff. So yeah, so that is the entire system, and all of the other stats are done exactly the same way, just underground. Oops, what did I just break? Did a bat just fly? Yeah, a bat just flew out of there. Okay, anyway, that's where the bat noises were coming from. But yeah, so as you can see, it is exactly the same. We've got the two comparators on the end for delay, two comparators on the other side for delay, our test 4 here, and then our AND gates. This is our you don't have enough XP, right? And then I changed this to jump stat in this case because this is for jumps. And then this to change their jump score and all of that. Exactly the same as that. I just changed the word speed to jump in every case. And then of course you can go through and change the cost if you want to. So yeah, that is how it works. I hope I didn't ramble on too much since I couldn't edit. I'm sorry that the new series, or the potential new series, is not going to work out until I can get my editing settled. Speaking of which, I might as well just do it now. In the intro video for the new series, I started off with a sincere thank you to every one of my subscribers, because I had noticed that a few months back I actually passed, I think, 300 or 400 subscribers now. I really need to double check that before recording next time. But yeah, I have far more subscribers than I thought I did. And so I just wanted to thank everyone for that. And since the video where I thank everyone for that is not going to be out for a while, the number I mentioned in that video will probably be wrong. So yeah, thank you to everyone, no matter how many or how few, who subscribes to my channel. I'm glad that my content is actually enjoyable to some people. I've just been having a little fun, hoping to show some people how to get things done in Minecraft, among other things on my channel. Obviously I'm Minecraft focused lately. But yeah, so thank you to all my subscribers. I appreciate it. If you like this content, then give the videos a like. It lets me know that you do. And also share it if you think other people that you know might be interested in it, because who knows, you may have found a channel that one of your friends will like even more than you do. So yeah, sharing is caring. So until next time, keep redstoning, keep command blocking.